We're here to talk about free speech, correct? And we're here to talk about that being a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The Supreme Court plays an essential role in guaranteeing those constitutional rights, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about a tweet. The Supreme Court is a death panel. Is that your opinion?
In the context of this hearing, I think it is important to emphasize why I am here, which is to talk about my views on the First Amendment.
No. That's not what I asked you.
This professor claimed to defend the Constitution, claimed to protect free speech. Then Marsha Blackburn read her own words back to her. The Supreme Court is a death panel. The room changed instantly. Blackburn fires back. Do you believe that about all justices, or just the ones you disagree with politically? No clear answer. But then the hearing exposed something even bigger. Claims that government agencies and big tech work together to target outlets like the Daily Wire and the Federalist. And that's the real question, when the people policing misinformation are openly political. Who decides what Americans are allowed to say? Subscribe, let's dive in.
Chairman. Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of you for taking your time to be here today. Dr. Franks, we're here to talk about free speech, correct?
Yes.
And we're here to talk about that being a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the Supreme Court plays an essential role in guaranteeing those constitutional rights, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about a tweet that you had in January 2024. The Supreme Court is a death panel. Is that your opinion?
In the context of this hearing, I think it is important to emphasize why I am here, which is to talk about my views on the First Amendment.
No. That's not what I asked you. Do you think the Supreme Court is a death panel?
In the context of the cases that, not for free speech, no, that was not the context of that particular
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, it appears that you see the Supreme Court as a death panel, and that is some of the same rhetoric that, unfortunately, we continue to hear from some on the left who are trying to villainize justices who are doing their job. And I would like to just ask you, knowing that you have put this out, that the Supreme Court is a death panel, then let me ask you this. Do you look at Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Jackson as members of the death panel, or is this just the justices that you disagree with?
I do not believe that the comments that you are referring to have relevance for this particular hearing, but here's what I will say. This is an administration that is threatening judges in addition to other people that he disagrees with. So, okay, yes, if your question is, do I defend judges? Am I worried about judges' security? I am. I am worried about this administration essentially threatening those judges.
I want to talk with you, Ms. Hemingway, about the State Department's use of the Global Engagement Center to censor news outlets like the Daily Wire and the Federalist. I know that this is something that you have had to deal with. And Daily Wire is located in Tennessee. We're proud of them. We are delighted that they chose to move from California over to Tennessee. And it is my understanding that the Global Engagement Center was created to counter messaging from bad actors, including terrorist groups, but the Biden administration weaponized it to silence conservative groups. And what has the censorship, I call it the censorship industrial complex. What do you think they're trying to hide when it targets outlets like the Federalist and the Daily Wire?
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Yes, our reporter, Margot Cleveland, who's our senior legal writer, uncovered through her reporting facets of the censorship industrial complex and learned that the State Department was one of the federal entities that was engaging with non-governmental organizations and other entities in big tech to market, promote, censorship tools and blacklists, which were then used against my publication, The Federalist, and also The Daily Wire. Publications that are a threat to the reigning orthodoxies are targeted by the censorship industrial complex. They want to exist without people pointing out their lies or the fact that there are really important debates. And so we are suing the State Department for that, and it is ongoing, this support of the censorship industrial complex. It is the bureaucracy, really, which perpetuates this even more than a particular administration.
Yes, and I think it's so important to note that robust, respectful, bipartisan debate adds to our freedom, helps to keep us free, and allows that debate in the public square. And when you have an entity that becomes weaponized and shuts down one side of that speech and only allows speech with which it completely agrees, that is when you have that censorship writ large. My time expires. Professor Turley, I have a question I will submit to you for the record. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for being with us today. I'd like to start with you, Ms. Hemingway.
What you just watched wasn't just a clash over one tweet. It was a fight over who gets to define the boundaries of acceptable speech in America. Marsha Blackburn exposed a contradiction that's becoming impossible to ignore. How can someone claim to defend the Constitution and free speech, while openly attacking the legitimacy of institutions they disagree with politically? That's why the death panel comment mattered, because it revealed something deeper than partisan frustration. It revealed how quickly political rhetoric can escalate from criticism into delegitimization. But then the hearing moved into even more dangerous territory. The claim that government agencies, NGOs, and big tech coordinated to pressure or suppress outlets like the Daily Wire and the Federalist. And strategically, that's the real story here. Because modern censorship no longer looks like governments banning speech outright. It looks indirect, distributed, algorithmic, institutional. Not, you can't speak, but, your reach gets limited, your credibility gets flagged, and your platform quietly disappears. That's why this hearing matters beyond politics. The battle now isn't just over free speech itself. It's over who controls the systems that decide what speech gets amplified and what gets buried. The real question is, when institutions gain the power to decide which ideas are acceptable and which are dangerous, who ensures that power is never abused? Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns that go beyond the headlines. No spin. No fluff. Just the agenda.